I can't get over this Trump. I can't get over the whole white hat thing. I can't get over it. That's so crazy. Check my chat logs. I called the Epstein Trump informant. It makes sense why he's obsessed with deep state since day one because he's been working with them. Dude, what are you talking about? If you think Donald Trump was working with the deep state to like take out Jeffrey Epstein, you are insane. They're lying, Chatter. What the are you saying? Dude, Chatter, you really need to stop eating radioactive shrimp. That's crazy. That's crazy that you believe that. I feel like Chatter had too many radioactive shrimps, I think, because you got to be crazy.
He's not saying that what Epstein did is a hoax. It's a terrible, unspeakable evil. He believes that himself. When he first heard the rumor, he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago. He was an FBI informant to try to take this stuff down. The president knows and has great sympathy for the women who have suffered these unspeakable harms. It's detestable to him. He and I have spoken about this as recently as 24 hours ago.
Disposable vape usage making young people receive higher amounts of lead poisoning than their grandparents, and I ain't even joking. I mean, clearly. Yeah, man, he was in on it all along. Dude, anyone that believes this, oh my God, dude. Oh, it's so awesome. This is such a funny turn of events. Yet another instance where something that we have joked about has become the reality now. Yeah. You're going to need some serious, you're going to need to do some serious forgery here. Also, the funniest part about this is like saying he's an informant also doesn't automatically assume his innocence. In many circumstances, people turn state's witness because they're caught. So what is even funnier about this is that this still kind of feels like it's still like even their freaking counter here, their counter narrative that they're going along with here still implies that he could be a pedophile. Can you make a joke about the president of Portugal dying, please? We're desperate. No. Please joke more about a workers' revolution. It doesn't work that way, man. The only things that I joke about that are in the that inevitably end up happening are that's just like worse than ever. Like man-made horrors beyond comprehension. Okay? Man-made horrors beyond comprehension. It's only when I make jokes about things getting worse than you possibly could have ever imagined do those jokes become reality. Like coming up with when I see an issue, right? When I see an issue that's taking place and I think to myself, like, what's the dumbest way that they could argue their way out of this? Usually that's the only thing that comes to fruition. What is this? Oh yeah, this is we will say this again so mainstream media and all verified blue check marks learn it. The only reason why President Trump attended Epstein parties was to extract information and evidence from the inside and send it to the FBI and the U.S. military. TRDJ plus. This is like from 2019. It's a QAnon conspiracy from 2019. I love that the current Speaker of the House is refrying previous QAnon conspiracies. Because why the f not? Why the f not? When you put it like that, it sounds downright noble to associate with someone who systematically abuses children, says Travis View. And I love that is now the current Speaker of the House's assessment. He was 100% not an informant and stopped associating with him publicly at a point which would make no sense. This is the most blatant lie. Okay. Not only is it a blatant lie, it makes no sense for him to say it's a hoax and it's a Obama conspiracy or a Biden conspiracy if it was a real investigation that he partook in. Trump is not exactly a person who is capable of any sort of espionage or secrecy. If in any way, shape, or form was he involved in the uncovering of a pedophile ring, he would constantly talk about it. He would literally... Donald Trump takes credit for shit that he hasn't done. What makes you think that he would be quiet about something that he has done? Are you out of your mind? Also, that's kind of the reason why the whole Agent Krasnow shit doesn't make sense either. That's like, you need to demonstrate a certain amount of competence to be able to be like a secret agent for a foreign adversary, especially, right? And Donald Trump does not have that. Like, he is completely incapable of doing any sort of espionage and holding on to like any sort of secrets. Like, it's just not going to happen. Major breaking. The Speaker of the House just claimed Donald Trump was an FBI informant tasked with taking down Epstein. So let me get this straight. They want us to believe Trump was working with the FBI to infiltrate Epstein's orbit while simultaneously partying with them for years, appearing in dozens of photos and getting named by multiple survivors. And then the other one is Brian Cassidy. But the Cassidy brothers are being like, they're joking. They're being sarcastic. Breaking. Mike Johnson just claimed that Trump was an FBI informant to help take down Jeffrey Epstein. If this is the case, then Trump would be a hero after it's all released in the Epstein files. Release the files. Agent doesn't include spy. Agent doesn't include James Bond. What are you talking about? Being deep undercover as a double agent for the KGB since the USSR era requires a tremendous amount of espionage that is like literally the closest a normal human being can be to James Bond. Being an FBI informant also requires an element of like secrecy, but it's such an idiotic, God, this is so funny. This is like, you can be an asset without wanting to be an asset. I just don't believe it anyway, because, you know, it just makes no sense. Especially after all is said and done, he would have revealed that he was a hero in this story. I cannot believe that this is going with this shit. No, my God, that's not true. You could be a sleeper, means no contact until you are in position. You think Donald Trump is capable of keeping a secret that severe? Like, he has that level of investment in any ideological cause whatsoever, that over the course of 30, 40 years, he actually built himself up to run for president eventually, win the presidency on a long shot, and then only after that he got activated. That's what you're talking about, is like a Manchurian Candidate style situation, and that doesn't exist. Like, it literally is impossible to make, which is precisely the reason why the whole concept of brainwashing was developed by the American media, because they could not come to terms with the reality that the prisoners of war that were held by the Chinese military and by the North Korean military during the Korean War were actually defecting and saying quite nice things about their captors. So they invented an alternative reality. Then they believed said alternative reality that these guys actually had the power of hypnosis. That's where the Manchurian Candidate concept comes from. That's where the hypnosis or the brainwashing stuff comes from. And then the American government also implemented their own version of this, because they were like, oh, they have hypnosis. They have the power of brainwashing people. They have the power of making them, turn against their own beautiful state. So then you have MK Ultra, an abject failure in terms of trying to actively break people's minds and then be able to control them, to brainwash them and do shit like that. Okay? There are no like sleeper agents and trigger words and things like that. MK Ultra succeeded in other ways in terms of like building some of the most psychotic serial murderers and terrorists that this country has seen, but it obviously failed as far as like being able to brainwash people into doing their bidding. So no, I don't think Donald Trump is a Manchurian Candidate either. I can't, like, this seems less like a press release and more like an offhanded remark in a moment of panic. So I really want to know if this was like a pre-planned approach to disparage the rumors that Donald Trump is a pedophile who had sex with children alongside Jeffrey Epstein, or instead this was like just in a moment on a whim, this guy went off script. The Speaker of the House went off script and just blurted that out, and now people have to go with it. FBI handler, welcome back, Secret Agent Donald Trump. Trump, no, not again. I told you people I'm done. Handler, we have one last mission for you. We need someone to get jacked off by a 15-year-old. Trump gets up to walk away at Jeffrey Epstein's house, says the handler. Trump stops. Trump, why me? Because you're the best pedophile. Cut to pedophile training facility. Bigger lie than stop the steal and the virus will disappear by Easter. It's just more insane. It's more insane, and like, stop the steal and the COVID will be done. The virus will stop spreading by Easter were lies that people wanted to believe. I don't think there's enough people even in Trump's base that would go along with this narrative, because there is too many inconsistencies especially post Trump's revelation that he is actually against the release of the Epstein files, where too many people are going to be like, that doesn't make any damn sense. It's fake. It's an AI video. It's fake. Johnson is in Canada today. I mean, it is sped up, but I just thought it was like sped up. I doubt it. It could have been like an offhanded remark he made like yesterday that's only gaining making the rounds today. Here's another angle of the video.
Every single one of them nodded and said, of course, yes, please do.
But Trump called it a hoax yesterday.
What Trump is referring to is the hoax that the Democrats are using to try to attack him. He has never said or suggested or implied. I've talked to him about this many times. He is horrified.
The whole thing a hoax.
It's been misrepresented. He's not saying that what Epstein did is a hoax. It's a terrible, unspeakable evil. He believes that himself. When he first heard the rumor, he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago. He was an FBI informant to try to take this stuff down. The president knows and has great sympathy for the women who have suffered these unspeakable harms. It's detestable to him. He and I have spoken about this as recently as 24 hours ago. What he's talking about is the Democrats who are doing this with impure motives. If they cared so much about this, why didn't they do something during the 4 years of the Biden administration when the Biden DOJ had all the records? They didn't say a word about it. Now they're doing it for political purposes. Not everybody, but a lot of them. And that's what the president's frustrated about. And we all are. That they're creating a hoax just like the...
Dude, he's not even very good at lying. He's not even particularly good at lying. His heart's not in it, dude. He just keeps going, yeah, I'm just actually. Can you guys just let this go? Like, let this go. Let it go. Just leave it. Just leave it. Stop asking me about this thing. Trump hinted at this himself. Wait, what? Come on, man. That's not. No, that's just a cool photo in his mind. A cool AI photo of him. He reposts shit like that all the time. That doesn't mean anything. That's funny. Yeah. What was he saying here?
Did with the Russian dossier because they think it's going to somehow be mud thrown on him. It's not. He has no culpability in this thing at all. The president has clean hands. He wants all the records out. He has told me that himself.
Should he meet with the victims?
I suspect he probably will. Yeah, he has great compassion for them. The president has a very compassionate heart.
Dude, that's so funny. Dude, saying that the president is so compassionate when he is like been found not guilty in a criminal court, but like at least in a civil proceeding, been found to have done a rape to a woman. Like that is, I'm sorry. There's something deeply fried about this assessment. He's a very compassionate guy. I could not ever in my life sound as dishonest as Mike is here if I tried. I know. The fact that he just said this makes me feel like now that the clients, because this is like coming right off the heels of the clients list potentially being released by the victims themselves. This kind of feels like one of the victims is going to be like Donald Trump was a person that was like one of the Jeffrey Epstein victims is going to come out and just straight up be like, yeah, he raped me. And that's what it makes me feel like. This almost feels like a way to get ahead of the story to be like, oh, we were there all along as a white hat pedophile.
Hates the fact that these women suffered those harms. He hates what Epstein is accused of.
Oh my God. Dude, what the Dude, he sounds, bro, what's up with this admin, bro? This is like the most Kash Patel ass response I've ever seen. I've never seen this lie through, like, look like he's lying so hard. Like, if you play this on mute and you just listen, you just look at his body language, you're like, this is a dishonest person. It's like he's trying to convince himself about what he is saying. What the hell? I've never seen him look like this. Yeah, Donald Trump is so compassionate that he once famously said one of his accusers was too ugly to actually sexually assault. Body language expert now? Brother, I don't think you need to do any fake pseudoscientific body language expertise to actually look at this man with his beady little eyes without listening to what he's even saying. Like, this is a man who looks like he's trying to convince himself. This doesn't require any expertise, real, fake, pseudo-scientific. This requires just 2 eyes and a brain. This man could be saying back my order at the counter and I'd be like, you shat in my food. Like, there is something off about this otherwise normal process. Why are you so shifty? Why are you behaving like this? What do you have to hide?
Oh, yeah, he has great compassion for them. The president has a very compassionate heart. He hates the fact that these women suffered those harms. He hates what Epstein is accused of and who he was. And when he recognized that, he realized Epstein wasn't just some sort of, socialite. He was an evil person and alleged to have been involved in evil schemes. And the president distanced himself before he was president from that, because that's not who he is. And I think he's being falsely accused and maligned. And that's a frustration of all of ours. That's what he's talking about when he says the hoax.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyway, he has to hide his porn. Yeah, that's what he sounds like.